you can see that there are four squares, and all of those are sort of principally interchangeable. Principally the way in which you undertake your pathway, whether it's on a linear approach from your degree through your SQE exams, then your qualifying work experience, and then meeting the SRA suitability requirements. That could be one way of doing it, or you could really mix it up in the sense of getting your degree under your belt, then maybe doing your SQE1, because as you can see from the right hand side of our screen, the SQE1 and SQE2 are completely separate from each other, so you don't have to do them consecutively. You could perhaps start off with SQE1, mix it up with a little bit of qualifying work experience, then go back to SQE2, and then meeting the suitability requirements before you can be admitted to the role. So there is very much more flexibility to this model than under the previous LPC one, which was much more of a linear progression. Just a couple of important things to note in relation to the exams. Probably aware of this, but it's worth emphasising. In order to progress from SQE1 to SQE2, you have to have passed SQE1, so you can't jump straight into SQE2. The only exception to that is that there are some exemptions, principally perhaps for those of you who perhaps have already got your LPC under your belt. If that applies to you, then you can go straight to SQE2, and you can leapfrog SQE1. You don't have to attain SQE1 in that situation. The other important thing to note is the slightly different timescale in which you need to complete your exams. You might be aware that under the LPC route, you have 5 years in which to complete the LPC. In the SQE model, you've got 6 years in which to successfully complete both SQE1 and SQE2. And so that, as it says here, I appreciate obviously some of you might want to qualify as quickly as possible, but that does mean that you can spread out your studies and intersperse it with QWE, qualifying work experience, if you want. The other thing to note that's really important is a big change is that SQE1 and SQE2 are national gateway exams run by one provider, which is Kaplan, on behalf of the SRA. So again, that's a big difference from the LPC, where every LPC provider had their own set of exams. This now is the model of one set of national exams that everyone sits. So there's consistency there across the board. And as I've already mentioned, your QWE, you can do that at any time along that pathway to qualification.